Hello and shalom to my brothers and sisters in Master Yeshua the Messiah who have his testimony and guard his commandments. Brother Nicholas James Vanderlane here. But this video right now that I'm making is that it's important to note that atonement needs to be made for the land of Israel. And that is going to happen during the 70th Jubilee, during the 70th year of Jubilee. In these videos, all the way from over 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and then 10 months ago, I've been recycling this verse that Daniel 9:24, 70 jubilees are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to make atonement, covering, kafar for iniquity, which is the Day of Atonement, to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Okay? So the subject is thy people and thy holy city. Thy holy city is also land. The city is also land. So that has to be done. Here in Deuteronomy 32, verse 43, this is Moses, the song of Moses right before he died. Rejoice, heavens, with his people, and bow down to him, all gods, for he will avenge the blood of his sons. He will take vengeance on his adversaries and avenge those who hate him, and will make atonement for his land and for his people. So we believe that atonement was made with the blood of Messiah Yeshua, but there also has to be, atonement has to be made for the land. And there's been a lot of sin since the Messiah Yeshua's death, burial, and resurrection. The law of atonement for the land of Israel, that law, this rule is found in Numbers chapter 35, verse 33, quote, so you shall not pollute the land where you are, speaking of the Israelites, speaking of the promised land, for blood defiles the land, and no atonement can be made for the land. So Yeshua's blood did not atone for the land. So no atonement can be made for the land for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. So eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So those who shed blood in the land has to be atoned for, per Daniel 9:24. The land has to be atoned for, per Deuteronomy 32, verse 43, Moses' own words. The only way the land can be atoned for is because of the bloodshed that's gone on in the Holy Land for years and years and years and years and years, is except by the blood of him who shed it. Okay, so that has to happen. That means that Yahweh needs to recompense for the shedding of blood in the land. He has to act upon that. And that's what he says he's going to do. Okay, he's going to atone for the land. And the Jewish people in the land and the Arabs in the land, both in the Jewish state and in Lebanon, all the way up to Syria, have been shedding blood in the land. And they are going to have their blood shed when Yahweh brings the judgment. That's what it appears to is going to happen. All right? Isaiah chapter 34, verse 8, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. That word for controversy can also be can be replaced with the cause of Zion. So it could be, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the cause of Zion. All right, so a day is as a year, the Jubilee year. So the day of Yahweh, the day of Yahweh's vengeance, is also the year, a year long of recompenses for the cause of Zion. So this time period of this Jubilee year, there's going to be a lot that's possibly, looks like it's going to be going down if this is the correct year of Jubilee, which I think that it is. I can't see any other way. Maybe one, but it would be like a huge misunderstanding on all of the scribes. There's a lot that's going to be going on in this year, if the chronology is correct, which I personally believe it is, unless there's one major scribe that every single Bible translator and Hebrew speaker has failed to correct for like all of the translations as far as that's concerned. So I doubt it. I believe it really is. So it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the cause of Zion. And that I told you that the cause of Zion is a better word for the controversy of Zion in the King James. This is a better translation. And this got me to thinking, what is the cause of Zion? Why is there going to be recompenses for the cause of Zion? What's going on here with the cause of Zion? Well, that's when it hit me, the Ruach hit me, because the cause of Zion equals Zionism.
So this is really deep, and I hope you really think about this one. That the cause of Zion is Zionism. Zionism, the definition is the cause of Zion. That's exactly what it is. And this is why judgment is coming. Because as I will explain, it's Edomite Zionism.
So if we go back to this verse, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompense for Zionism, Yahweh's going to be judging all the Zionists out there. They're going to be judging the land. It's going to be judging Christian Zionists for their sin of Zionism. Okay? It's going to be judging the lost Israelites for their sin of Zionism. Okay? There's a lot going on here. All right? So in Isaiah 34, verse 8, for it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for Zionism. Yahweh's going to be vengeful on Zionism. This is what it appears to me. And the context of the chapter is Edom, is the land of Idumea. If you read this context of Isaiah chapter 34, it appears partially allegorical. There's going to be a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. You might be saying, well, Nick, the land of Idumea is like in Jordan or something like that, or maybe south of the Negev, possibly on some maps. But that might not be what it's talking about. That might be allegorical here, allegorical speaking. We can see right here,
for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So, and then it later says, for the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. So he's going to be recompensing and putting vengeance on the Edomites. That's what this is about. So if you read this chapter, the context is Edomites. Edomite Zionism. Edomite Zionism.
But it's important to note that in Ezekiel chapter 35 and 36, that it prophesies that in the end of days, that the Edomites would have possession of the land of Canaan, possession of the Holy Land, possession of the mountains of Israel. Speaking of Esau, or Mount Seir, which is where Esau dwelled, Edom dwelled, because thou hast a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity, had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh Elohim, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, because thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So that's that blood theme of recompensing for the blood that was shed in the Holy Land. That's something to consider. Esau did it. Because thou hast said these two nations, Edom and the land of and Judah, Israel.
Or the two nations can be the northern kingdom nation of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. Basically, the Edomites are saying, these two countries shall be mine. Okay, they are taking and hijacking these countries, and I'm going to be proving that in more verses coming up.
And these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. Possess what? Edom possessing the Holy Land, whereas Yahweh was there. So there's going to be a group of people that are going to say that they are like pretending like Yahweh is there, doing all of the priestly rituals like Yahweh is in the land.
So right here where it says, whereas Yahweh was there, they're going to act, they're going to impersonate, which means they're going to impose, they're going to be imposters of the Israelites. They're going to act like they are the Israelites as if Yahweh was there. They're going to have their temple institute trying to get the temple together. They're going to go around and pretend like they are the two nations, Israel, and that's what we see today with the Jewish people and the Jewish state in the land of Israel.
But they are possessing these two nations. These two countries are mine, they will say, and they are going to possess the land. This is speaking of Esau, all Idumea.
This is what Esau is going to do.
Okay. And then Ezekiel chapter 36, it says, because the enemy has said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. The ancient high places is the Golan Heights. That is a prophecy for today. Okay. And who says that the ancient high places are theirs? the Jewish state. That's who says it's theirs, okay? And to connect all of this, the Jewish state is predominantly Edom, possibly. I don't know, but that's how I best understand it. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Elohim, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. This is what has happened in the land. If you look at what's happened since 48, or even prior to that, to cast it out for a prey. They're preying on the other heathen that are in the land. The land eats itself up, just like it was prophesied. And then, wherefore I poured out my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, speaking of the Israelites, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. So the land was polluted by the Israelites. They got booted out. Currently, right now, the inhabitants of the land has polluted it with their idols. It's polluted with idols. It's polluted with bloodshed. And Yahweh, according to his modus operandi, his fury is going to be poured out upon the inhabitants of the land to cleanse the land for the bloodshed that's in it. Okay, that's according probably to the Ezekiel 32 war, is my guess. And then in the rest of the chapter of Ezekiel 36, it's a new heart, new spirit for the Israelites, for the house of Israel. So this is completely something different, and this is for a time now, because the enemy has said against you, against the land, the mountains of Israel, and the Golan Heights are the mountains of Israel. Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Okay? Who is the enemy? The enemy is Esau. Esau is always the enemy of Israel. That's like their first enemy. Okay? Even Amalek was a descendant of Esau, a type of an Edomite. King Herod, he usurped, and he was Edomite. Okay, so Yeshua, he rebuked those in the land. They said, "Oh, he said, you're of your father, the devil." When they said, "Oh, we're sons of Abraham," he didn't deny that they were sons of Abraham. He just said, "Oh, you're sons of your father, the devil." Okay, Esau, meaning that they were actually Edomites. Okay, hidden within Jewry. And
here is an excerpt from the Wikipedia article on Edom. During the 2nd century BC, the Edomites were forcibly converted to Judaism by the Hasmoneans and were incorporated into the Jewish population. Other scholars believe that this simulation was voluntary. So there you have it. The Edomites became Jews. This is 2nd century BC. So this is like between 200, 100 BC. So there you have it. So by the time of Yeshua came around, a lot of the Jews, they were all Edomites. And what happened when they got dispersed by the Romans? They all went into all the lands around them under the pretext that they were Jews, but they were really Edomites. And then later in 1948, they all came back. All the Edomite Jews came back into the land saying, "Hey, this is us. We're the Jews. The land's given to us." So they're really descendants of Esau. Not all of them, because there's a lot of Hamites. Actually, like 30% are Hamite. At least 30% of them are like Hamites. Then you have other Japhethites out there, and then you also have Edomites and other haplogroups. Again, I do believe that about 10% of the Jewish population are actual Judahites under the false assumption that they are Jews or Jewish when they're really just Judahites, but they have no idea to the understanding of what's going on. So all of these Christians out there that are all supportive, these evangelical Zionist, Christian Zionist Christians, Christian Zionists, these guys are all supportive of Satan, the adversary. This is how crazy this is. And this is why a lot of them are going to be judged, because they are like literally on the wrong side. They're on the side of the adversary, Satan. They are not being faithful to Yahweh. They're going to be found unfaithful.
Even in like the Jewish Encyclopedia, it says Edomite is Jewry is Edomite is Jewry, or something like that. So here you have it again regarding the shedding of blood, because the land, it has to be atoned for. Ezekiel chapter 33. Then came the word unto me, saying, Son of man, they that inhabit those wastes of the land of Israel speak, saying, Abraham was one. This is just like in Messiah Yeshua's day. Oh, we're sons of Abraham. They say we're of Abraham's seed. Remember okay? And he inherited the land, but we are many. The land is given to us for inheritance. Okay, so that's a clue. Yeshua was giving us a clue in John 8, I think it was, where he secretly said they're of their father the devil. He didn't deny that they were not sons of Abraham. They're Edomites. Okay, the Jews at the time were predominantly Edomite. King Herod was an Edomite Jew, had converted probably through the Seleucid Empire, during the time of the Seleucid Empire. So he inherited the land, but we are many. The land is given us for inheritance. So the Edomites are Esau is trying to get his inheritance back by pretending to be Jacob, just as Jacob pretended to be Esau, to trick their father Isaac into giving him the blessing of Esau. Remembered Jacob stole the blessing by pretending to be Esau. And so therefore now, and then also we know that Jacob, he also bought Esau's inheritance for a bowl of beans, or for a bowl of red lentil soup. So now Esau's trying to get everything back. And he's trying to get back the inheritance by saying, hey, this inheritance was given to us. Pretending to be Jacob, while pretending to be Jacob in Israel. But we are many, land is given to us for inheritance. Esau is trying to get his inheritance back in our age, right now, under being called Jewry. And it's a shame that Christians, evangelical Christians who have all of this support for the Jewish state, don't even know what they are doing. It's such a shame, because it's such a shame that they're all Zionists. They have no idea that Yahweh is going to judge Zionism in the year of Jubilee, according to Isaiah chapter 34, verse 8. And to be clear, I do speculate that likely 10% of the population, of the Jewish population, are actual Judahites, okay? But only like around 10%, not enough to call the whole group of them Judahites, because they're not. You have to be a biological descendant of Jacob, of Judah, which they are not. Those that inhabit the wastes of the land of Israel speak, saying, Abraham was one, and he inherited the land, but we are many. The land is given us for inheritance. Wherefore say unto them, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, ye eat with the blood, okay, not according to the covenant of Noah, and lift up your eyes toward your idols, and shed blood, and shall ye possess the land? No, if they shed blood in the land, okay, that they say it's given to them for an inheritance, and they shed blood in the land, well, guess what? The blood of them needs to be shed to atone for the land, according to the law of atonement for the land of Numbers chapter 35, verse, I think 33 it was. Ye stand in your sword, you walk abomination, you defile every one his neighbor's wife, and shall ye possess the land? Thus saith unto them, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, as I live. So Yahweh Elohim is swearing as he lives, surely they that are in the waste shall fall by the sword, and him that is in the open field will I give to the beast to be devoured, and they that be in the forts and in the caves shall die of the pestilence. For I will lay the land most desolate, and the pomp of her strength shall cease, and the mountains of Israel shall be desolate, and none shall pass through. Then shall they know that I am Yahweh, that I have laid the land most desolate because of all their abominations which they have committed. Who? Those who are claiming to have the land given to them for an inheritance. Predominantly Edom, more than likely, at the end of this age, according to Ezekiel chapter 33, according to Ezekiel chapter 36, according to Ezekiel chapter 35. Okay? So that's what's going on here. All right? Also important that they're going to fall by the sword. That sword is in Ezekiel chapter 32. The war of Ezekiel 32:17 through 32, that war, which is also the sword that you're finding in Ezekiel chapter 7 and also in Ezekiel chapter 21, that sword is going to come through the land, and it's going to clear everything out, it looks like, during the Jubilee year, to atone for the land. So again, this is likely the Jubilee timeline. This is likely so accurate. That's just what it is. A lot's happening. That word for recompenses in Isaiah 38 verse 4 is shalom. Shalom. So shalom, not shalom, but shalom. I don't know. Maybe it's actually shalom. It's requital, reward, requital, retribution, reward, or bribe. That's how it's used. In Micah 7, it's more like a bribe, but here in Isaiah, it's only used, the word's only word 3 times. I don't know if it's because of the vowel points. Shalom. So it's like shalom, but it's different, I guess. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion, for the controversy of Zionism, or for the cause of Zion, or recompenses for Zionism. The days of visitation are come. The days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool. The spiritual man is mad. For the multitude of thy iniquity and the great hatred. What great hatred? The great hatred of Esau for his brother Jacob, Israel. So the days of visitation and the days of recompense are going to come on Esau during the year of Jubilee. Okay, the day of vengeance. Okay, this is the day of vengeance. And here is the day of vengeance. The jealousy is the rage of man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Yahweh is not going to spare in the day of vengeance. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn. Okay, so that's comforting words, knowing that Yahweh is going to be making a recompense and making everything right, making atonement for everything that's going on, making recompense for everything that's going on. That has happened. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. The redemption happens in this year. Okay, we are sealed until the day of redemption. We'll see when that day of redemption is. The day of redemption is going to happen during the year of Jubilee. Maybe the day of redemption, if it's not tonight, maybe it's on Passover. The second Exodus is on Passover, the spiritual second. Who knows when it's going to happen? I don't know. For it's the day of Yahweh Elohim of hosts, the day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries. Ooh, so he's going to avenge himself of his adversaries, and the sword shall devour, and it shall satiate, and made drunk with blood, with their blood. Remember, blood for blood to atone for the land. For Yahweh Elohim of hosts hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Remember, even up there in the north country, it's part of the Holy Land up to the entering in of Hamath, so all the way up in Lebanon. So as I said, I expect this Ezekiel 32 war to like wipe everybody out. Okay, they're going to wipe each other out, possibly. We'll see how that happens. Deuteronomy 32. Okay, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall not slide in due time, and for their day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. And then Isaiah 34, verse 8. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for Zionism. Okay, and Zionism is an Edomite operation to get the Holy Land and take the inheritance back from Jacob. So that's just how that is. All right? And it's important to note that when Messiah Yeshua, he stopped right here when reading. I've already proven this, that this was a Shemitah year when he opened up this and read this Isaiah 61, verse 1 through 2a. He stopped right here. He proclaimed this acceptable year of Yahweh. Every 7th year on the Shemitah cycle is the acceptable year of Yahweh. Also, the acceptable year of Yahweh is also the Jubilee year, but the Jubilee year is the day, the Jubilee is the day of vengeance of our Elohim is for the Jubilee year. So he stopped right here, and this is likely where it's going to pick up, the day of vengeance of our Elohim. Okay, so that's something to consider. And now that the sun has set where I'm at, and right now it's Erev, the evening time right now. I'm looking right now at the mixing of the day and the night. I want to bring up Daniel chapter 9 and bless all of you brothers and sisters out there with Daniel chapter 9, because I personally believe, I recognize, if I be correct by the spirit of wisdom and understanding, that Daniel chapter 9, the whole chapter right here, occurred on Yom Kippur. It wasn't a Jubilee year, but it was on Yom Kippur, but the Jubilee is hidden in it, because after he praises Yom Kippurim prayer during the time of the evening, the Areb sacrifice at the end of the day. He's making atonement for his people toward Jerusalem. So let me go ahead and face toward Jerusalem right now as I read this. I already know where Jerusalem is at because that's where I prayed to earlier today with my family, facing Jerusalem. I'm facing Jerusalem right now to the temple. I'm facing where the temple would be in Jerusalem, right there. I'm going to go ahead and read this now that I've directed myself there. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the numbers of years whereof the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto Yahweh Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh my Elohim, and made confession, and said, oh, and here is his prayer that he made on this day as he's facing unto Yahweh Elohim. He's facing Jerusalem. Okay. O Yahweh, the great and merciful Elohim, keeping the covenant and mercy with them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned, okay, broken the 10 commandments, okay, and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Okay, that's the law of Moses, all right? They had not been keeping the land Sabbaths. And if they're not keeping the land Sabbaths, then they're not keeping the Jubilees. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings. One of them would be Isaiah. Also would have been Jeremiah, our princes and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us shame of faces. Confusion of face is not great. Shame of face. As at this day the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel, that are near and are far off through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. The trespass of them was shedding blood. The trespass of them was eating the blood, eating with the blood, but it is also shedding blood in the land. Okay, the blood of men in the land. Oh, Yahweh, and all of their idolatries and everything else. They've trespassed against them. So many trespasses. O Yahweh, to us belongeth shame of face, to our kings, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To Yahweh our Elohim belongeth mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him. And neither we have obeyed the voice of Yahweh Elohim to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yeshua was a servant. He was a prophet. He only taught the law of Elohim, cannot put that away. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured out upon us. Ooh, the curse, we see the curse in Zechariah chapter 5. That's the nuclear ICBM missiles. That is a future curse. And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Elohim, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words which he spoke against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. And there was a great evil when the Babylonians came and razed Jerusalem to the ground. But also, there's going to be a future great evil of the Zechariah 5 wicked fire offering nuclear ICBM missiles. That great evil is going to nuclear World War III. For under the whole heaven have not been done as been done upon Jerusalem. Jerusalem was razed to the ground, all right? As it is, but that's, when I'm speaking of the great evil that's going to be brought upon the Israelites, that's going to be a great evil, the nuclear weapons. Here, Jerusalem was razed to the ground. That means it was like nuclear destruction, basically, when Jerusalem was destroyed. Esau, or Edom, was there in the Psalms. It says he was there encouraging the Babylonians to raze it to the ground. As it is written in the law of Moses, all these evils come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before Yahweh Elohim, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore hath Yahweh watched upon the evil, and brought it upon us. For Yahweh our Elohim is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. And now, O Yahweh our Elohim, Thou hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and hast gotten thee renown, as at this day. We have sinned, and we have done wickedly. O Yahweh, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from the city Jerusalem, thy holy mountain, because of our sins and for the iniquities of our fathers. Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach to all that are about us. Now therefore, O our Elohim, hear the prayer of thy servant and his supplications, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary that is desolate for Yahweh's sake. O my Elohim, incline thy ear, and hear, open thine eyes, and behold our desolations in the city which is called by thy name. For we do not present our supplications before thee for our righteousness, but for thy great mercies. O Yahweh, hear. O Yahweh, forgive. O Yahweh, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake, O my Elohim, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name. And while I was speaking and praying, this prayer right here, and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahweh my Elohim for the holy mountain of my Elohim, yea, whiles I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation, which is right now. This is it, a rev. This is the time of the evening oblation. The sun has set. It's the time of the evening oblation. So it's at this time, on Yom Kippurim, right here,
Yom Kippurim is just ending at this time of the evening oblation.
that Daniel is praying for atonement. Okay? Daniel says that he understood the number of years according of 70 years, according to Jeremiah. That's what he thinks. Now something else is about to happen. Yea, while I was speaking, even in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning of his prayer, it looks like, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation, which was likely on Yom Kippurim, and he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. Well, here Daniel said he understood by the books of Jeremiah the 70 years determined, but now Gabriel is going to give him a different understanding that Daniel didn't really understand before his prayer, before Daniel got this upload of information. This is Gabriel speaking. O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding. At the beginning of thy supplications, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show thee that thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter, and consider the vision. 70 sevens, 70 jubilees are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, which is the land, to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make atonement, not reconciliation, to make a covering, atonement for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore, and understand that from the going forth of the commandment, okay, that's something now, I've already done videos on the rest of this, guys, but that's what happened when on Yom Kippurim. And here we are today, all right? We are at the 70th Jubilee on Yom Kippurim. We are actually here now, okay? As far as this others, I've already explained a lot of this in all my other videos. There's no reason to go for it again. If you haven't paid attention, then I can't help you with this understanding of all of the 10 Jubilees ago was from now was when 10 Jubilees ago have now been completed since the going forth of the commandment to restore and rebuild Jerusalem, which is the civil infrastructure, Sultan Suleiman of the Ottoman Empire. And he made that decree, I believe, in 1535.
Likely year 1534 to 1535 AD.
You add those 490 years, it brings you to this year being the Jubilee year. Okay, so that's just where we're at. 70 Jubilees since the Israelites crossed the Holy Land. We are in the Jubilee year. The Jubilee year is the day of vengeance. It's also the year of recompenses for the controversy in Zion. So we, according to the best chronology that we have, we are in it. The Jubilee year has begun. It is the day of vengeance. It is also the year of recompenses for Zionism. So we're going to see how this whole year plays out. It's also the year of Yahweh's redeemed and redemption. So that's going to happen this year, whether it be today, which likely doesn't look like it's going to happen, or on the 10th day of the first month when the Israelites crossed in and they get a do-over again. It's the acceptable year of Yahweh. So we'll see how it plays out. So according to the best chronology we have. So I'm signing off. I hope this video blesses all my brothers and sisters in Master Yeshua the Messiah who have his testimony and guard his commandments. Shalom.